Okay, we've got a little project here. We've got some cutoff wheels. We've got a cutoff wheel anvil. We have a Sonex SX301B angle grinder, 90 degree grinder, 22,000 RPM. A Sonex 1/4 inch drive, just regular straight cutoff wheel grinder. We have a different adapter kit. I had to get this from Master Pro. Got it from O'Reilly. And then what I did was I picked up a caliper bracket and core assembly for a Saturn. It was cheap. It was one of the cheapest ones I could find. And I actually picked up a set of brake pads for it. Cheap ones. I said I don't want expensive ones. I want cheap ones so we can talk about brake pads. Honestly, this was about a $300 purchase just to do this demonstration video for you guys, and I'm going to end up throwing this away. So, yeah, this is where we're at. And some caliper paint. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to set this angle grinder up with the Roloc anvil, and I'll show you guys how that's done. The first part is you're going to screw this anvil into the bottom of this rubber head right here, and it screws in like so and tightens up. And then you're going to take this anvil and you're going to mount it pretty decent ways down inside here. You can go all the way if you want. I like to pull it out just a hair so I have a little bit more room when I'm working. I leave about a finger's width. Yeah, I got to cut my nails, but whatever. It's been a couple weeks. About that. Pull it out just a hair right there. That's where I'll lock it in. What you'll do is you'll either isolate the bottom with the small tool that comes with it, which is the thinner wrench. It goes on this bottom portion. See how it's got a flat on that side and a flat on this side down here. But on this upper portion, you'll use the bigger one. You can either isolate one and spin the other, or isolate the other and spin the other one. Now you're ready to take your Roloc disc and thread it into the end of this. Basically, it just sits on here and locks in like so. Unlock it. So it's got those couple threads that are right there on that, and it's threaded on that insert. Again, one-handed. If I can do it one-handed, you can do it two-handed, that's for sure. And that's where any of the Roloc discs have that. Different grits. This is more aggressive. You can obviously see it's very, very thick and heavy sanding. This is a little lighter. This is a little lighter. And then this is more aggressive than that one. Just find the one you need for your job. And this is how I would set up the other one. Some of them have a shield around, and I prefer not to have a shield on mine. And this is what I would use to also clean up different rusty surfaces, including caliper brackets. And then in the center, you just tighten that down with a flathead. And that's how the anvil is. You lock this in same way as the other one. Here's my two main tools I use for cleaning brakes and some of the abrasive pads that I would use. And yeah, that's the basic part one on the cleaning tools that I would use for doing brakes. This is just basics. And let's get into actually how to install everything in the proper way to maintain and clean the calipers in the next video. Be blessed, guys. Thanks for watching. This is just a basic setup on the tools that I would use to prepare a rusty brake caliper for a new set of brake pads, and then the proper procedure into going through and setting it up for new brake pads, which we'll demonstrate in part 2. Seeing as this is a series and we don't want it to be too long, I'm cutting the videos up into smaller sections. Depending on what type of air hose you use and fittings you use, you're going to have to find the right fitting to go into your air tools that you're going to use to be doing your brake job. This particular setup here I have is a IM setup. So that's my fittings, 1/4 inch fittings, and that's what I have locked into here. I get them from Home Depot. They already have the Teflon sealant already on them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our tools, put them aside. We're going to get our caliper over here, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to picture taking your wheel off of the car, and then you are looking at your caliper bracket right in front of you. See these two bolts right here? Those are your anchor, your bracket bolts that go through the actual knuckle assembly, or someone would call it anchor plate, whatever you want to call it. These two bolts will come out, and you can pull the whole assembly off. Obviously, you'll have a brake line attached here. What I do is, if I'm going to clean these real good, is I pull these slide pin bolts out. This is a channel inside here. It's supposed to say clean and lubricated, and in this channel, a lot of times it rusts out, and you got to take a drill brush, and you got to rod that port in and out, in and out, in and out to get it real nice and clean. Spray some brake clean back in there, and then blow it out, and then re-lubricate it with some ceramic slide pin grease. And yeah, let's go ahead and pull this bracket off, and I'll show you what it looks like. So here is the caliper with the slide pin bolts taken out. You see there's some caliper slide pin grease here. Here's the bracket. The slide pins go through the rubber grommets. One rubber sleeve is serviceable, and the other pretty easy. And this sleeve here is a little bit more tricky because it slides all the way through to the other side. And it's got a little relief breather spot on this side over here. If it needs to push grease out, it can. Over here, it doesn't have that option on this side. And one side bore is bigger than the other. Typically, if you look at the way this is mounted, the bleeder will be on top. And when it goes on the vehicle, your bleeder is always going to be up. If you have a vehicle where the bleeder is down, that caliper is on the wrong side, or somebody got the wrong caliper for it and mounted it incorrectly. I've seen that happen before. So when you go up to the wheel, the bleeder's like this pointed to the ground. That's incorrect. That's not the right caliper for that side. It should be up in the air like so. So when you bleed it, the air comes out all the way. If it's like this, the air ain't going to come out all the way, and you're not going to have a good braking effect. So let's go ahead and pull one of these rubbers out. So I pulled the larger port out. It just kind of slips over it, and it fits right inside that groove. You kind of like start it on one side and then roll it around. Now you can get it. Sometimes you might have to use a pick. There it is. I got it. I got it to go on, and it's in that groove right there. And then to prep this, I'm going to take you outside, and I'm going to show you actually using the air tools on how I clean up these brackets, and then how I finish them when I'm done. So now I've got this set up here, and what I would typically do is I would take this cutoff wheel. I've got it hooked up to my airline right here, and I would just real lightly, both sides. Just clean it up until I get real good contact area like that, to where there's no rust, there's no brown, there's no nothing. And then when I'm finished, at that point, the surface is not treated anymore. So what I would do is I'd grab a can of my rated caliper grease. This is enamel with ceramic. And I know what some of you are thinking, oh, why don't you just go grab grease and stick grease on it? I don't do that. That's not how I do my brakes. And I'll take this and I'll just, real lightly, if it'll, check it up a little bit more. There we go. Real lightly, I'll just hit it a couple times. My contact areas, and I'll leave it alone. That's it. You just need a little bit. You don't need very much. Give it about 5 minutes. Just throw your clips in. You don't need to put no grease behind that. That's the best corrosion inhibitor right there that you can use. I didn't make it from the garage to right here with the wind blowing, and I can already stick my finger down in this paint, and it's already dry. That's ready for my clips to go back on it now. And there you are. I got my clips on. Nice and painted. The paint didn't run over the sides or anything like that. Looks like it's brand new. I have red, black, and silver, which are the color of most caliper brackets. Silver is the most common. You never even know I was there. I cleaned up all the rust and stuff, put everything back in. Now I'm ready to put my pads in. Now, this is the cheapest set of pads I could find, and I just slipped them right on there. No problem at all. They move no problem. No grease. Put it on there dry like that. Cheapest pair of pads I can find. The most I would see sometimes, every once in a while, a little grease right here on the ear. If it grunts, it's a cheaper set of pads and a cheaper caliper. A little bit right here on the ear, because whenever you go to apply the brakes, it'll every once in a while have a grunting sound. Well, a little of that grease right there on these cheaper anti-rattle clips will quieten that down and take the effect away. But a lot of people are like, oh, you got to put grease back behind the clips because it's going to cause the pad to lock up. No, it's not. If you do it just like I did, clean it just the exact same way that I did, spray a couple coats of just regular caliper paint on it, and then put your new clips and stuff back on, the pads will typically slide right on every single time. And that is the best corrosion inhibitor that you can put on a brake caliper bracket that you can find. And it's not grease. Grease is an option, but it's not grease. Even if you got to spray black paint or red paint on a caliper bracket after you clean it, it's better. Any color paint is better than putting grease there that attracts dirt. This is the correct way to do this. Then you would clean up and grease your pins and then put your bracket back together. There are some things to note whenever you're going to put your pads and stuff on your caliper bracket assembly. Is you see these clips right here in the corner? Those are squeak clips. Whenever the pad depth drops so low, if you look back in there, once it drops so low and there's only like a quarter to an eighth of it left, it starts squeaking on the rotor to let you know that your pads are low. That's how they're designed. Sometimes you'll only get, like, you see how these here, they have the clip here and the clip here. Well, the kit has 4 of them that have clips on all 4 sides. Some of you only get the inboard side clips. Sometimes it's the outboard side clip. Just all depends on how you want to set it up. Typically, if I get one that doesn't have a clip and one that does, I'll take the one that has the clip and I'll put it on the inboard side, because I find those wear out quicker most of the time, because that's the side the piston's pushing on. So if this locks up out here, which it shouldn't, but if it does lock up out here, I find that it's better to have that clip on the inside. So when it starts to wear, I can get that squeak earlier if there seems to be a malfunction with the caliper. Well, and there we are. It's all set up. Caliper pins greased. There's no excessive grease hanging anywhere. There's no grease on the ears of the pads right here. You know, every once in a while you might find a pad that has too much paint on the ear and you got to file some of it off, and then just spray a little bit of paint right back over what you filed off, let it dry for a second, put it back on there. There's no reason to put grease on the ears of these. Anybody that tells you that, oh, putting grease on there, it's going to make it last longer, that's just how they're used to doing it. The best corrosion inhibitor, the best rust preventative, I'm telling you right now, is to grind it away and paint it. Only use grease on the slide pins if you can. Put everything back together with new stainless clips, good brake pads, and you're good to go. You don't have to worry about any of that other stuff. Grease just attracts the dirt. It's a nice selling tool for Permatex and everybody else whenever they want to go sell for certain things, because guys overuse it. They use it on stuff that they don't need to use it for. But this is my take on how I prep and put together brake caliper assemblies. I hope this has helped you. Thank you. If we want to add a little bonus to this, we'll talk about brake pads. This is just a regular low-end semi-metallic brake pad. It's nothing special. It's going to have a lot of dust to it. It's going to maybe make a little bit of noise because if it's a cheaper pad, and that's normal when you go cheap. Not like scraping noise, but it might grunt every once in a while, or you might get like a little scrape sound or something every once in a while. Some of these have a relief in the center cut through, and then the edges are beveled. They're tapered, so they make less noise. The cheaper ones are just simply flat like this. They work, but they're not as nicer as some of the like more semi-metallic / ceramic ones. They're much better brake pads for sure, but I just wanted to cover this is what the cheaper ones look like. Nothing wrong with them if this is what you want to use. You might get a year or two out of them before you got to replace them again. Some of the other pads will last, 3-4 years plus, just depending on your driving style and your braking style. But yeah, that's a little bit about brake pads as well. Sometimes they have a clip in the back that's already installed. Sometimes you have to put this, not clip, but a rattle plate, anti-squeal, anti-rattle, anti-noise plate. There's a couple of them. Some of them will have double or triple on here as well, or they'll give you like a grease that you put here, and then you put the plate on top of it, and the grease helps hold it in place. So it just all depends on the type of brake pad that you get, but that's just a little bonus to go along with it.